everyone. This is our very first Riders Digest,
Okay.
where we will be talking about post Rapid Riders campaign chat. So yeah, we're gonna start with obviously there's Ben, is me, Bree, and Sam, and we're gonna chat a bit about last night's session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could, pretend that there's other things to talk about, but there isn't. Really.
So the mountain thing, right?
Yeah. So I mean,
the Bog Ben show at the end. Yeah.
Oh, don't get me wrong. The stinger at the end was fantastic. I'm very glad that I got to role play my element of it. But I mean, we did. There was a particularly thirsty moment that happened. That
I don't know.
No, I know, but two individuals, but both the characters and the players, both kept reaching for drinks, which I don't think either of them actually noticed that they were doing.
No,
but I did because
nice
I was watching.
I got that back now. Nice spot. I didn't realize that.
Because I saw this a couple of times.
Hey, if you're talking and you need an excuse to stop talking.
And just your mouth is dry, okay, God?
That's a really good reason to stop talking and let the other person.
I wonder why it was dry. So yes, let's go on to the main focus of episode 20's session. What the fuck happened in that mist room, huh?
It was misty.
Mist room. Mist room is.
It was misty and it was wet.
Yeah, I think.
No, because you were. That doesn't mean like.
Okay, I think from Garrick's point of view. So obviously Garrick is a character. For people who don't know, a character I created alongside Bree, having had Bree take the criminal background, have a point of contact in every, notionally in every hold. I believe with a criminal background, and this is somebody that she knew personally, having grown up in Harley's Rest. We created this character together as someone, and I think it might have been my suggestion that I don't know whose suggestion it was originally, but it might have been romantic entanglement in the past. But it became very quick.
I don't know.
I think once you made the character model, you were like,
look at I think I made it, and then I was like,
yeah. I think you originally made him without a shirt, which was the clean shirt. So obviously we had this character starting that was a individual that you had this path romantic entanglement. We were talking about how that had ended, and we sort of decided that it was never like a clean cut, so much as like, I'm going this way, I intend to come back, but I'm aware that I might not see you again for a very long time, if ever. And that's sort of what happened. So when they did see you again, suddenly it was like, first of all, this person, I knew this person was alive, but this person is now here in my life again. And secondly, they're not running away from me. They're not angry at the situation. They are just interacting with me as per normal. But also, they have a boyfriend, a pretty serious boyfriend, who initially he didn't click, but then Doran absolutely convinced Carrick that Howlite was just the most lovable guy who genuinely cared about everyone, and they're like, oh, I 100% get it. But you know, those feelings didn't just magically disappear, and they just sort of had to begin saying, okay, this is something that I need to put aside, not just because of my own needs to be able to continue to function as a living person, but also because we are part of a serious rebellion, and it cannot get complicated by this thing. So they started to distance themselves from those feelings. Then
that was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the woods, and you turned up, and there this moment where it was really just the four of you, an individual. They have two individuals, but they have very little history. Vexation they do have a history with. They do not have any history with Zeke, other than knowing them for the past couple of weeks. And Zeke
Most
wanting to be
of that being miserable.
Zeke wanting to be not part
Yeah.
of the conversation because of intonations that they had made during, I don't know what episode that was, where
Yeah.
Episode
you-
17.
yeah, you pretended to be a young Diana and propositioned. Not like you
Everyone.
genuinely tried, just so much as
Oh,
in
no.
front of everyone you changed form and did that.
Yep.
Yeah, that hit a nerve, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And then-
intended to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then coming to the songs, where you
Yeah.
sang a song that you. I'm not going to disclose if you don't want to when Diana canonically wrote that song, but just like discussing her feelings for the absent Garrick, and Garrick also had written a song about their feelings for the fact that they were not going to be in a relationship and they were just accepting those feelings, that they were not. They still had great feelings, but they knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And then this very codified talk of like, is this something that we are going to finish together? Which I think was your original, like, oh, we'll finish those lyrics together. And they were like,
That's not subliminous.
exactly.
Yeah.
yes, exactly. I think that's a problem because Garrick was like,
It
is
certainly
that
wasn't
code?
everyone else in the chat. Let's put it that way.
That's the thing, like it's good that you're here to sort of say that what are you seeing, because I don't know, and then I don't know, probably Sam, I don't know if you know, but
I have the absolute joy of completely of understanding that both of you were talking at different points from before it even started.
I did not. Yeah.
I know you didn't know, and I know the Bree was intending it one way, the other way, but it had
What?
been mentioned at the end of episode 19, just a smidge, because you were leading on to the idea of the song. No, sorry, episode 18,
yeah, before.
leading on to the end of the
Yeah.
song. And you said the line then, do you intend to finish this song? If you do, can we finish it together? And my brain immediately went, because I looked down at Sam and I looked over at your camera and I went, that has been interpreted in two very different ways. And I am not going to say a goddamn word, and I'm going to watch this play out very uncomfortably.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I try to play my characters as they are. Garrett is intelligent. He knows things. He's good at getting like information. That's what he was doing in the original rebellion. He's not a wise man. he's not.
Neither is
So he was
Diana.
trying to incite what was like what he thought was codified language, and he got it so wrong.
Yeah, because Diana's
what's it
insight
did?
is low as well. Just like
just two people who have no idea how to read people.
Yep.
At the same time, you're also not opposed to it.
Yeah, that was
which makes it worse.
Yeah, yeah.
That was it. We came
He's
to
not
the mess
sure.
room, and all like pretense was gone. It was like, okay, we know what we are talking about. I
Finally.
clearly read it wrong, but now that we both know what we are talking about, is that something that could happen? And
Yeah, that was the first
I just
time.
watched Bree.
Yeah. I think that was the first time, because it's been like, it's just been like a tennis match. It's been back and forth, back and forth. Like, for me, it was just like there was no intentions, and then like he put doubt in my mind, and then there was like, okay, it's like it's just crossed that line again, and then I was like, no, we're back here again. We're back at the no intentions, and then you said something else, and I was like, oh, we're back over there again. Okay. So yeah, I think finally last night we just kind of met in the middle, and it was like, now that we're here, we can have that conversation.
Exactly. It's like a tennis match, like you said. It's a tennis
Yeah.
match between two people who do not know they're playing tennis.
Yeah.
They're just hitting something when it's coming nearby.
Ah! Yeah.
What's this? Is this something? I don't know.
And I think it was interesting you said earlier about the song. So in my mind, what had happened is that, so we caught up with you. We were caught up with Garrick in the woods, and then he was obviously very angry. We had that chat where he was just like, it's over. It has to be over. And Dan was like, yeah, cool, okay, fine. So then the way I was thinking was like, you know what? It doesn't matter if I sing this song then, because it's over. It's fine. And then it obviously didn't work out like that.
And then it was me sitting there like going, well, that's Garrick telling himself that it's over, not him telling Diana. That is him trying to convince himself.
Yeah.
It's like,
but Diana, again,
and
no
literally
insight.
that's why I said, when Garrick started that's why I said, Zeke is fucking backing up. It's like, I do not want to be in this conversation.
And I'm like, I don't understand.
I knew you didn't.
Why are you going?
Like, don't
No.
worry, I'm just...
It's so good because obviously in that moment you had both independently left because you had both thought, I need some time, like, not by myself but away from the party, away from these people. And if you don't think Garrick was 100% hoping that they were going to get some time to think for themselves as well, you're wrong.
Yeah, you know, that didn't even cross my mind.
Because we've established that the relationship with Vexation is just not quite like, it's more maternal than it is any kind of like, it's friendship, but it's almost like
Sibling
maternal,
well,
almost like sibling maternal, that's sort of like, we look after each other. But you, like, in that instance, when I was at my lowest, you were the one who looked after me, and I've never been able to repay that, so it's always been a bit more towards Vex having the power in that relationship. Not the power, but the importance of they are the one who looks after people.
Yeah.
So they were going to find this person. It's not like I'm like going to mum to talk about this issue, but just I'm going to someone I trust, who knows my feelings a bit better, and I can just discuss this with. And then you guys rock up. Maybe you're getting a bit more of an idea of where we're like, why they were so angry in that moment. Because it's like, this was meant to be the point where I clear my head, and suddenly it's just swimming again. But it's not like, hey, we enjoy the drama, but oh boy, this is just this turbulence in Garrick's head of like, I've described him before, and I continue to describe him as a big bag of what the fuck, because he has no idea what he's doing. He knows that he wants to help Rebellion, he knows that he has feelings for you, and he knows that he's like formed this sort of like competitive but slightly flirtatious relationship with Taxes as well. And just a big bag of what the fuck, because they really don't know where their own heart is at this point, because they are trying to focus on one thing and seems to be pulled in all these different directions. And he's just following his feelings, and his feelings are just all over the place. So he's as lost as his feelings are.
Yeah.
I know them.
Yeah. It's because I don't think, like, I didn't think about what would happen after we caught up with Garrick. That was it. That was like the full stop. And then we kind of got there, and I was like, oh, oh, okay. No, I understand.
Yeah,
okay.
That very much clicked on stream as well, because you're like, oh, you're not happy to see us.
No,
I was like,
I wasn't expecting
I
you to be
literally just went,
happy, but
there's a reason I said,
yeah.
like, in character Zeke turned to use, like, he's going to be very angry.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I don't think, like, I didn't think that because that was like that was, yeah, that was it, you know, to catch up to Garrick, to make sure he's okay. That was it. And then I was like, oh. There's
Oh
more
no,
to
the
this
consequences
now.
of my actions.
Oh, no.
Consequences.
What are these?
What is this? Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
No,
And it
But
didn't
yeah.
even cross my mind that he would want to think about stuff because again he'd said that it was over and that he was totally fine with that, and then obviously it's like zero insight. And like, and yeah, I
Yeah,
see that now.
I think that particular scene last episode where in that room and he said, "I need to know, is this something that you could ever be interested in?" That is like something that I think anybody who's been in a crush has had to confront. Where we're like, okay, I need to know because if it's a no, that's fine. I can move on, and if it's a yes, awesome. And
Yeah.
all he has now is more doubt of like,
Yeah.
okay, so it's a not no, but it's not a yes. It's enough.
Yeah.
I have no more information. So he just needed to say like, okay, I need a fixed point about which I can say nothing is going to happen till then, and it makes most sense in his mind that you are in a relationship with a person that he respects and he enjoys the company of, and he's
Yeah.
not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything while you're in that relationship because even as a cocky rogue, he respects this man, he respects you, and he respects your relationship enough to say that's absolutely nothing is going to happen until you have had some kind of conversation with Hallett about whether you're still together.
Yeah.
And that is where he is compartmentalizing this whole thing for now of like, this is where this lives, and I can get on and be useful to actually what I came here to do, which is to fight against the against the oppression.
Exactly.
And if that means cutting onions,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how perfectly thematically appropriate.
Cutting through the
He's just
layers.
like,
Yeah.
no, it's the onions, it's the onions.
Sure it is, bud. Yeah. I think up until last night it was like, nah, he's not serious about it. Like if he was serious about it, he knew where I was. He could like come and whatever. I think, and again, the leading up to it, it was like he's still not serious. He's just messing. He's also flirting with my best friend, and it's clearly a massive fuck up. Like, for I don't know for I don't know for like Diana's brain. I don't know what his intentions are with that, but like, yeah, I didn't think he was genuinely serious up until last night, and then I was like, oh, okay, maybe you gotta think about this. I don't know. Yeah.
So from an outside perspective,
Yeah.
you were pretty much the last to know that that's how Garrick was feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, but like you saw it, Mr. Bragging Man and flirting with everybody and.
But he never actually flirted with you. What he did was he was sincere with you every time, which is a different level of flirt. He was
Bree
he
also
was
doesn't
treating
understand
so with taxes, it's a game. It's a little bit of fun. It's if something happens, great. If something doesn't happen, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
With Diana, every word was chosen. With
Yeah.
Diana, it's what do I say that doesn't endanger the friendship, the possibility of something going forward, but also not revealing my hand.
Right. Okay. I see.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good surmise.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it came across as that like Garrick wasn't serious about it, but maybe I don't know. Diana is also confused now, so yeah.
I think that's actually there's just confusion is not like an abnormal thing in these situations.
Yeah.
It takes somebody saying, "Hey, here is how I feel," and that is a very brave, risky thing.
Yeah.
And it's something people should do. But I am not saying that I am the one who does it often. But what I was thinking, like, obviously, when we sort of started this campaign, Ben, I wanted to ask you, because there was and there have been inferences that Zeke has some very real attraction to Halite, whether that is physical, whether that is on a deeper level. It's not something we've really explored. But there is this position that, again, you're in where this person is in a relationship with someone. They are in a relationship with my friend, and there's still that flirting. But I like, what is Zeke's mind space on that? Is that something like, oh, if they were free, I would pursue them, or is this like I'm just flirting with this person?
Purely just flirting with Halite. Mostly, I morbidly curious to see how it would function.
Large.
You know, I understand that concept. It's what is it going to be a situation of a humanoid and the donkey, shall we say?
Yes, he would kill you.
Yes, exactly.
You would die.
Yeah. Death by snoo snoo.
Death by
snoo snoo.
Yeah, with Hal, he gets on well with Hal because pretty much initially because of the crowd. The more that he's now having to start facing the shit that he's been avoiding for a long time, that is not so much coming into question, but is very much on the back burner. It
must be so far back in your mind now. Like,
yeah.
Like,
the playful jokes will still be there because he's an asshole and he doesn't know how to express his emotions properly. But it's mostly down to him actually trying to figure out how to deal with everything that he hasn't dealt with.
You have to be the soldier, not the lover in this moment.
Exactly, yeah. So like I gave that little bit of inference a while back to him praying to his mother, which is something that he obviously out of game no one knows, but he hasn't actually done that since she passed. He's been basically, for every tragedy that he has encountered, he has ran from it further and further into something, whether it be alcohol, whether it be violence, or whether it be then the crowd. A new form of addiction, a new form of poor coping strategy, and now he is having no choice but to actually confront it, and possibly at some point have to, eventually acknowledge that some of it wasn't actually his fault.
Yeah.
Which
he is a victim in all of this as well.
Yeah. Talk to the monk therapist that we have now.
Yes. Yeah. Low-key, quick aside, I cannot believe that you still have not spoken to the monk trainer.
I'm aware. I was. He's been down in the pit. I haven't gone down there yet.
Yeah, it's fair.
Until someone tells me there's a goddamn monk down there.
You don't know there's a monk there.
I have no idea.
True.
There's some weird guy who was sat on the floor with his legs crossed. Like, who is that?
I haven't even seen that. I've literally turned up, had a chat with you all, turned back around, spoken to Siege, gone back out.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Literally, I've made about 50 feet into the compound, and that's it.
But if I may say, what 50 feet? Because you were really you had okay, I am a soldier. This is now a fort. What am I going to do here? And you immediately made an assessment of what are our resources, how are our resources being spent. And that conversation with Siege was obviously me thinking a little bit on my toes of okay, how do I justify these things that I came up with? And it's okay, no, genuinely, there is very little resource for wood here. So most of it goes into keeping the forges lit. and anything that's hard enough to be used for like these shafts is probably going into mines as extra supports. But it's good because it put me on my toes. It's like, okay, I have to be in the space of Siege and say like, okay, I am a leader of the sport. Why am I making these decisions? And it's very easy as a DM to go, oh, I guess I don't do that, and then just retcon it. But it's like, no, these are the things that they made, and they might not be decisions they made, sorry, and this might not be the most optimal strategy. But very rarely do you meet somebody who worked out the most perfect optimal strategy and started doing that, rather than hit the ground running and had to grasp at what they were doing and made the plans along the way. And somebody else might come along and go, oh, you could be doing this differently. And if they are an intelligent, perceptive person, would go, oh yeah. And if they are someone who is proud and has to keep a face, so would go, this is why we do things here.
Yeah.
And I had to sort of had to roll with that. But yeah, that was a really good conversation. It put into context, okay, here is where you are in the world. Here is the resources available. It gave a much more picturesque, theatre of the mind view of what is around you. It's not like you are in a forest again. You are in a sparse mountain landscape. There are hardy gorse bushes, and not much vegetation apart from that lives up here. So that was a really that. It threw me, but I'm glad it threw me because it got me to
I'm glad. I was a little concerned when I first brought it up because I was a little worried that I was going a bit too heavily medieval warfare geek with it. But again, this is a dark fantasy world that we're playing in, and as much as we laugh and joke and we have some serious dramas and stuff, there's a point that's going to come where it's not sunshine and rainbows and oh yeah, all these people are going to rise up and I'm trying as both Ben and as Zeke, it is that thing that me and Diana specifically have been trying to hammer home to the other lot, but they don't seem to have really grasped it yet of people are going to die. And it's not going to be a couple, it's not going to be a few hundred, it's going to be thousands.
Yeah.
We are talking a civil war on the scale of a country all happening at one time. So it's part of why Zeke was so adamant about Hal not going off, but didn't have any reservation about going to do something else, because Hal going to do what he was going to do was a suicide mission.
Yeah.
And that was coming from the person with a death wish. Yeah, from Zeke's point of view with all of that, he looks at and I don't know how about Diana, but I have an inkling that we're along the same wavelength with this.
Yes.
That Hal is like a golden retriever and is kind of just happy to be with his friends without really understanding the context of what is happening. Dewey is just kind of happy to be outside, and the harsh realization of war hasn't
sunk in with Dewey yet.
Not at all. It feels like there's this natural naivety.
Yeah,
I think that the responsibility
it hasn't escaped them, but it's not like they were born of war, have that training and have seen it go from great to shit. They have always grown up with a world like this, and they have found a community here, knowing that it was shit. But I mean, again, we need more people on to discuss our own characters. And I definitely want to get more into Dewey's character, because Dewey's character has this just brilliant energy of I am here to help, and I am not here to burn bridges. I am here to build as many bridges as possible. I was fully expecting Phil to say no, Dewey genuinely hangs back, but Dewey just ran in for a hug with you guys as soon. There was no we are not going to burn this bridge. This bridge is going to stay intact at whatever cost, and whether that is for rebellion or because he genuinely loved you guys. I think it's because he genuinely loves you guys.
Yeah.
It's that
But
one.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's for genuine love. Yeah, it's my interpretation.
Yes, and that's my interpretation as well. And honestly, at least from Zeke's point of view, that's dangerous.
Okay.
It's part like he cares about you a lot.
Yeah, I see that actually. Yeah.
But he's really trying now to put the soldier brain back in. It's why he started sobering up. It's why he started like, I'm getting too attached to these people, and not all of these people are going to make it out of this.
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
get that.
I can't lose more again. I need to take my brain out, and I need to be the soldier again.
Yes.
That's where Zeke's mindset is, and it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work.
I get that. Yeah.
But it's the correct thing for his character. And at some point, if any of us do lose a character, he is probably going to start on the bottle again. And
he doesn't understand. Like, he doesn't.
Yeah,
he
because he will because he will blame himself.
Yeah.
For doing what he did in the Chimera fight of being upfront, not being and stopping other people from getting hurt. Because while he has a death wish, his entire thing is, I am to blame because I wasn't good enough, I wasn't strong enough, I can protect people because I can be there. That's his entire mentality. And it's fucking toxic and dangerous.
Yeah.
None of this is healthy.
No. I think, like, Diana and Zeke are so different. But what you just said is exactly what Diana is also going through. Like, I think everyone else wasn't born when this kicked off 50 years ago. You know, it's just us two. And it was, no one else is kind of like, it's like a rose-tinted dream, you know? Whereas we've been there and we've, like, lived through it and we want to go back, you know? So it's a little bit different like that. And whereas, like, Zeke turns to the bottle and tries to ignore things and, like, gets angry and lashes out, whereas Diana just goes whoop the other way and, like, just shuts it down. That's it.
Mask goes up and just
yeah, that's why I think like that week that she had away from everybody else, like, in her head she had put Garrick aside. She was excited to see Hal. She put that mask on, and she's gonna get into the rebellion, and that was her thing. Like, when she got to the fort, mask was up, you know, and yeah, like I always say, there's no rebellion if you're dead, and that is true to the point where I don't know if she would jeopardize herself for other people, which is very different from all my other D&D characters. All my other D&D characters will run in guns blazing, you know, so I think it's different with this one. Yes. So yeah, very much self-preservation, but also self-preservation for the greater good, because so
you're more than yourself, if that makes.
It's not it's not selfish in its need to keep yourself alive. It is.
Yeah, it's selfish. Like, if you think about it, like, short term, it's selfish. You let your friend die. You could have done something. But if we were to die here right now, then the rebellion, all the, like, thousands of people will suffer.
Yeah.
And it's interesting as this dynamic, because obviously I've had a great time writing in these other characters who are also rebels, who are fighting in this. And obviously you guys have consistently proved that you're the most able-bodied, you have the ideas behind it, you have the drive. But that's the thing, because, like, there is genuinely this feeling, and I love it in Diana, that, like, okay, I need to be the one responsible for getting this thing going. Like, there are these other people who've tried and, in Diana's eyes, have failed to make this thing actually happen. Even coming back to episode 1, Oz Nemesis really weren't doing. They, like, before you guys got there, they were creating this rallying, like they rallied the crowd, and they were doing the odd job here or there, but they really weren't like making that progress until
Yeah.
you arrived, and then we had this sort of couple of months where it's like, okay, we're really making a difference. We're starting to like really get this ball rolling, and somebody saw the ball rolling and stopped the ball.
Yeah.
But it's this idea of like, does rebellion die with you, or does rebellion die with rapid riders, or does rebellion die when somebody with the notoriety within the rebellion of rapid riders goes? Because Zebi is no longer with us, and the rebellion is carrying on. So is it you're carrying their mantle, and if you don't make it, does that mantle pass down, or is that the end of it? And it's not like a cut and dry, like, oh yeah, somebody else will pick up the mantle. Maybe, maybe not. If you have, I think, I cannot remember the name for the life of me off the top of my head, but the Peasant Rebellion, as a real example from history, something Tyler,
Mm-hmm.
when he was like in front of the king, he got cut down, and suddenly everybody was like, "Oh shit, that's it. We're going. We have to go home now because for one person in charge." And he wasn't the one person in charge. There were so many people in charge, but he'd become the face, and the face died, and everybody was like, "Okay, I guess we go home now," and that was it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's very much like the fact that you guys dropped those letters on Ben Alicia, like, no, we're still here, it's still going, and just felt like I love the fact that Ally has this connection to the crowd, so you can have a literal meter of the fact that they were suddenly re-inspired. But yeah, it's a very like interesting dynamic of, are we the only people that matter just because we are the player characters, or is it more that we matter so much that if we go, the fire goes out of us?
Yeah. I think my view as well is like, you referenced to like a historical thing, like the last King of Wales, last Prince of Wales, died, and then everyone's like, oh, okay, we'll roll over, and and that was it, and there's a part of me personally who is like, if you die, there is no rebellion. They will take you over, and they will. That's it. That is it. So that's me.
And on the flip side of that, it's now Zeke is. I think what is happening, and I realized it pretty much the last night, not beforehand. What has unintentionally happened is Diana is the face. Diana, I know you're not comfortable with that role just yet, but that is where she is being placed.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And Zeke is attempting to become your sword.
Yeah.
Is to be that support structure behind you.
Yeah.
Because the issue has been, and it's the issue that each one of the rebellions that we've encountered, or the sects that we've encountered so far, is that they're independent. They all have this one person that they all get the fire up underneath, and that is dangerous because it sells and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Which is why Zeke's thing was to turn to each of them and go, right, you are good at this, you are good at this, you are good at this, train people. Tell them how you do things, teach them things, so that they can go out and teach more people, and they can teach more people, so that it's, while we may be the faces now, it means that if anything does happen to all of us, there are many more faces that can step into the role.
Yeah.
A rebellion lives and dies on the principle of the rebellion. And Zeke is happy to martyr himself for that.
long as there's people there.
So long as there's people there.
Yeah.
Happy to go, but knowing that there is somebody who's going to step into that role.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Someone has to be there to pick up the pieces and carry on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think I know Vex is around, but I don't
Yeah,
like him. I don't like
let's
him, man.
talk about-
Okay? I don't like
Yeah.
him, man.
So, so Vex was
I don't
originally written
think-
as this character as
Yeah.
like somebody who would be a rebel leader in Dress, probably a bard.
Yeah.
Somebody who can inspire people and probably has proven themselves a little bit. They had a plan and they were trying to command respect because they were emulating this old bard who commanded respect by her actions, and she had yet to have those actions to like command that same respect, so she was just trying to emulate it.
Yeah.
That natural 20 intimidation check,
I
it
know.
didn't. It broke this woman down from thinking I am the next Harling. Not like thinking, but I want to be the next Harling, to thinking I can never be the next Harling. And that's not a bad thing in the long run.
No.
To go like, you are not going to be this next Harling. There should not be necessarily a next Harling. You are going to be Vexation.
Exactly.
But that's a journey that's just started for her, and we are in the middle of a now moderately open rebellion after what you guys did in Belicia. So it's not the best timing for it. So she has approximately a few weeks to get her shit together.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that were slightly more planned, Halite climbed the mountain. And I knew that was going to happen for a while, which gave me opportunity to put something at the top of the mountain for a little present.
Yes.
Yeah, this vision that they received at the top of Osmond's Mercy. I think the first thing I want to ask is how the as players, how you obviously you don't know, your characters don't have that information yet.
Yeah, it's a dragon. It's a dragon.
It's a dragon. No,
It's a dragon. It's a dragon come out of a mountain. A mountain is a dragon. Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, how as players, I know the information is not with your characters yet, but as players, like, yeah, obviously there's something going on here. What was your? You don't have to tell me as a DM. I can figure it out. Surprise later, but.
So, honestly, I stopped being a player in that moment, and I became a DM again. I couldn't help myself. I tried really hard to get back into my player space, but I'm really lucky that you did it at the end of the session because my brain was fully in DM space then. Yeah, that's me as the person. As like I had to do that with it because I will just overanalyze it, and I have not looked at that image since.
Apart from it being a dragon, obviously, a dragon. I don't know what to think. I don't know. It doesn't. Pretty sure. I don't know if Halite is gonna even tell anyone.
This is an image Halite has seen in their own mind. It's their own ability to describe what they saw that is going to be
exactly.
I don't even want to describe the image. Like I try to describe it as vaguely as possible to let people have their own interpretation of what it was. I think this is a fun dynamic to throw to the players. But there are things where it's like, I know in the DM space, like, you could ask these questions and you will get these answers. And there are things that have already been said that could take you to certain places in relation to it. And that is something that I'm interested to see how you interpret. But it's this sort of thing of like, is this important? Is this not important? Is this a strange vision? Whilst at the same time, you guys have, at this point, like a week and a half before the Masquerade Ball, which is going to be cool. And you guys have to sort out costumes. I've tried to establish that there are like dwarven crafters here, but materials need to be a thing. And certainly masks, metal masks can be easy, wooden masks, a little bit more difficult, but definitely can happen.
Yeah, I mean, Diana doesn't need one. She'll quite happily walk in there.
Yeah.
As an
Anybody
elf.
who's like vaguely human size.
As an elf.
Terrible
like,
idea.
I know, but they dress up, don't they? The humans dress up as
They do.
lesser
The
races.
idea is the masks, the masks that are enchanted, essentially, the theme is to dress as the lesser races.
Exactly.
So you will be recognizable as Diana if somebody knows who Diana is.
I have a wig. I'm gonna put the wig on.
That will help.
That will help.
I was going to say, you are literally persona non grata at the moment.
Yeah.
You are public enemy number one.
You were the one who literally performed in front of Marinea Tebi.
Yeah.
You were by far probably Zeke is the one that she remembers the most,
definitely.
just because Zeke burned half of her face.
Lol.
But certainly a lot more people saw you. Taxes has privilege of being the only one who did not get a good clocking from any of the Empire soldiers, because she just dashed down from rafters. She got people away, and she was wearing the hood the whole time. People would recognize the hood more than they would recognize her.
People have started to recognize the hood, which is you just made me remember that I've just made a note because I thought about this earlier that I need to talk to Taxes about the hood.
Yes.
Maybe take the hood off occasionally. Here, I got 3 or 4 different wigs. Pick one. Pick one to wear.
That's an argument to be made, but a lot of people here have not seen her take off a hood and don't necessarily know that she is full-blooded human.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is why the first thing that I told her when we were discussing the mole was, you need to be very careful.
Oh, yes. What else happened in the game?
Not really a lot else happened.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. It was you two.
That was the second half.
It was you two having a play fight, turning into a real fight, turning into an almost sexual encounter.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Coming into a relationship fight. Myself and Dewey, essentially me setting up what people should be doing, and Dewey going to
you and Dewey
forage
actually
in the
doing
woods.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
And then Hal crying on a mountain after stuffing a letter into a goat's mouth.
Yes.
Not onto its collar, nor onto the bag that you told him that he had on its back. Just shoving it straight into its mouth.
Did we imagine anything else would happen?
Yeah. Yeah, in that. Oh.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just interpreted you go,
do that.
oh, I have this question. Oh, I don't know if I should ask this question.
That was exactly what went through my mind. Yeah, no, my question. Hot and steamy, wet.
Yes. Next question.
Yeah, next question. More a statement, really.
Hot and creamy. Wet?
What? That was the question. Just put a question mark at the end. Yeah, no. Did you, as Garrick, was there a point where you were thinking that Garrick was going to make a move?
There was a point where the first thought in their head was like, I feel guilty about the fact that I knocked you out. I want to take care of you in this moment. And there was a point where you were in the bathhouse together and you had some privacy for the first time in a little while. And they were cleaning themselves up and they saw your bruises. But they were like, based on the conversations that we had, is not even oh, I want to go and make a move right now. I don't think, there wasn't like a, I'm going to jump into it kind of thing. I'm going to just go and make a move right now.
Yeah.
Because they are not wise enough to figure out a lot of stuff in their own head, but they are wise enough to realize you don't just go and kiss somebody
Yeah.
who's in a relationship.
Yeah.
Or kiss anybody who you have not confirmed is into that fact that you are about to kiss before you do it.
Yeah.
Even they knew that there was some confusion about whether that could happen, but there was never a point where they said, "I'm going to try my luck," because that is
No.
because they have a wisdom above 10, and they are not a misogynist prick who thinks they can just
I think
but there was certainly a point where they were like, I'm going to open up the conversation here where my shirt is off, your shirt is off.
quite literally, yeah.
Is this something that is more than just us having a conversation with our shirts off?
Yeah.
And they got they didn't get they got the answer to that, which is no, but also not maybe no forever. You should go and talk to a therapist. Which, to be honest, is really not a bad answer to that question.
Yeah, is that what I said? Nice. Okay.
Quite that bluntly, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. 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 Because it obviously like role playing this kind of stuff is very it's very difficult, but role playing it on camera is difficult, and role playing it in front of lots of people is difficult. In real life, if you think about it, what would you have done in real life? It's probably a lot less, like, you wouldn't have thought about it, you know? I don't know. If that's
there would be
it would have been a
potentially
lot
less
less
like
to think
being in
about
your own head and
in that time. Yeah. But yeah. It definitely crossed my mind. I was like, what would Diana do if Garrick was to do that? You know?
What have Diana done?
um
Probably that. It's
that
the shock of it.
would have reciprocated until not.
Yeah.
For a bit.
Like,
yeah.
this feels right, this feels right, this is wrong. Just
You're like,
stop.
you do it until like that little switch goes off and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Whoa, a minute. Whoa.
Which is an entirely real reaction.
Exactly, yeah. Because it definitely crossed my mind last night, and I was like, if this was real, what would happen? You know? But yeah. What would Garrick have done?
I think if Diana had gone to kiss Garrick would, Garrick, absolutely would have reciprocated. And there would have been, again, that moment where we're like, just pushed back and like, oh, fuck, no, what are we doing? Like, you are in a relationship. We are.
Yeah.
This is so not okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's nothing more I want to do than just.
Yeah. I think
going.
it would have been like very, very mutual to just no. Yes, but no.
Like, it's like there's just so much emotional charge between you, and the history of it is like this was a romantic charge, but if there had been that case, it would have been like, oh, all of that past relationship we had is coming flooding back, and this is something that we are used to doing in a certain sense, but so much has changed that it cannot be right anymore. There's so many layers to it that make it just fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The joy of this medium.
Yeah. There was
to be able to tell very unique stories. Sorry, carry on.
This is a very funny moment when I think Garrick had asked, was it like, is this gonna happen or could it happen?
Could it? Yeah.
Could it happen? And everyone did that. I was like, why?
But I think that was Garrick's brave moment of like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Like I need to know for my own sanity for whatever we are doing here. If I get a no, I know where my path is. If I get a yes, maybe things are still fucked, but at least I have some clarity as to what is going on here.
Yeah. Like, because obviously you were one of those people right in my face.
Doran just disappearing.
Oh, Doran's little face? I couldn't. Oh, yeah. Just as
Anything? Yeah, go for it.
No, you go.
All I was going to say is anything people are excited for the next episode, things that people are looking forward to doing, questions, information they're so excited to learn, either for your own character or for others. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What's yours, Ben?
I'm looking forward to the moment Halite turns back up and the hour and a half awkwardness that is going to ensue.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh, I really am.
I'm just gonna sit. Can I sit under the desk?
Zeke is not.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you were looking forward to it.
Garrick is not looking forward to it. Sam isn't sure if he's looking for it. Like,
yeah. Same.
Only you two know this has happened between the two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. And Diana is at that point where, like, where before it wasn't there was no decision, there was nothing. Whereas now that there might be a decision to make when none of that had even crossed her mind for like decades.
And is she praying that that decision has been made for her?
I don't know. What? I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just thing, right? Where it's like, this is a whole aspect of ourselves as these characters that are like, this is something that I care about on a very deep level. And at the same time, I really have to be caring about this other thing, which is really important to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I am not a robot. I am not a machine made for rebellion. And this is not a tale where the perfect heroes do the perfect thing every single time. This is a tale where there are emotional, messy people who have lived in a shit environment for a very long time. They have their own story alongside the fact that they hopefully are these heroes that are going to, if not defeat the Empire, at least change the Empire in a way that makes it so that it is not this evil place anymore. Yeah.
And I think before the conversation last night, I think the decision would have been around not getting too close to anyone. But now that obviously is going to look different, because I know you guys perceive it to be something else that I do. But yeah, does she put on the mask enough to end it with Halite? I don't know.
Find out.
Yeah.
Mostly that's only a decision that Halite and Diana can make.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all gonna find out. I don't think Bree fully knows either.
I don't know what's going on, man.
Yeah. Cool. Well, next time we're gonna be a little bit closer to the Masquerade Ball. Depends on how things go. Probably most likely Halite will be back with the party, depending on again how time flows, what people want to do in the space of probable, several days that it will take him to come back down. And indeed, what Halite's decision is regarding whether they do come straight back down. whole lot of variables, a whole lot of mystery, a whole lot of intrigue there. So definitely make sure you tune in for the next episode 21. Guys, we can legally drink in all countries.
Yay!
Yay! Yay!
Yay!
Or at least America.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, thank you everyone for joining us for this Writer's Digest, the episode 1
Yay.
of finding out a little bit more about this world that we've created, this world that we're inhabiting, this world that quite a few of us are pretty much thinking about non-stop at this point, has come to dominate our lives, quite literally. Thank you all for watching along. Thank you to our Patreons that have supported us to the point where we can make something like this. And there's people that care enough about these characters that we've made that are interested to watch this video. We're going to do this on a semi-regular basis. Whenever something particularly of interest happens, like a cat running in front of a camera. But yes, thank you very much all for joining.
See you next time.
Yeah.
See you
Bye.
next time. Bye.
I hate to put it all on anyone.
I know.
But they are gonna to describe what they. Nobody saw it. It's fine. Don't just go get it.
Oh, no,
Get it.
I was like,
that needs to be bloopers.
Yeah, it's this.
I can have another one. I went in.
Yeah.